Hey everybody, welcome to the Multifamily Legacy Podcast. I'm your host, Corey Peterson. I have a great show and a great guest today, and I think he's going to really get you super excited. And we're going to talk today about the top of the funnel. Like when you're looking for raising money, what should you be doing? How are you going to attract and nurture and get people to follow you, and more importantly to know, like, and eventually trust you, so they'll give you their hard-earned money. So my next guest is, his name's Adam Adams. I've actually had him on the show before, but anyways, Adam is known in the real estate community as AAA Adams. He's educated thousands of investors through his real estate conferences, radio, and podcast interviews. He is the host of the Created Real Estate podcast. And I didn't know this, but he was actually invited to Meetup.com. They're top. He's one of their top 6 organizers in the world. That's pretty cool because like Meetup's a pretty big thing, and for him to be one of the top 6 to actually speak and talk about what he's done in meetups and how to bring people together. So without further ado, wait, hold on. Give me just a quick second. I got to tell you what's going on in Kahuna Land, because right now we've got some really cool things. First, just 2 quick things. Number 1, if you are looking to get fed, in October, we're having our Kahuna Boardroom. If you want kind of like mentor-like mentorship without having to pay that $30,000 or $40,000 for it, then I highly recommend that you attend my Kahuna Boardroom. You go to kahunaboardroom.com. It's only $5,000. You get access to me. You get all our training and tools, and really we hold your hand. We got a lot of done-for-you products. It's super amazing. It's application only. We're only filling 60 seats. That's it. Once we get to 60, no more people in the room. I can't teach hundreds of people this in a big room and have that level of intimacy. So 60 is the number. We actually scrubbed we used to do this 3 events a year. Now we only do it twice a year in the spring and the fall. This is the fall version. So come on board, go to kahunaboardroom.com and apply. And then for everybody else, if you're just really wanting to like kind of scratch the surface and you want some really great value, I highly recommend that you go to kahunahq.com. I'm giving away all the products, all my online courses that I've ever created, all my files, my swipe files, I mean everything. It's $97 a month subscription. It is truly unique. It's really cool. I think you're going to really like that. So head over there. So anyways, I just want to get those 2 things out. We've had some couple great podcasts lately. Like my wife, if you listened a couple episodes ago, my wife was out there laying bombs. Just super exciting what's going on right now. I know it's a crazy time out there, but I'm just telling you, there's opportunity and changes in the air, and with that comes just tremendous opportunity. I don't want you to lose sight of that. So guys, if you can do me a great favor and put your big listening ears on, because we went into a lot of detail and a lot of good meat and potatoes. So with further ado, let me introduce my good friend, Adam Adams. All right, Adam, welcome to the show, brother.
Hey, man, how are you?
Man, I'm just excited that you're here. You know, it's not very often that I get just phenomenal guests on my show. I mean, I've had a lot of great guests, but I'm putting you in the phenomenal category, right? Because I think today we're going to talk about something that I believe everybody needs to like listen up and pay attention to, and that's really about the top of the funnel, right? And you're a master at this, of getting people to know who you are so you can move them to the place that you want them to go, right?
Thank you. Yeah, I try to be. I'm not good at very many things, but the top of the funnel, you know, they call us, I know you and I are both in a mastermind together that we do the PIs, we do predictive index.
Yep.
And my PI is specific to a starter. They call me a starter. I'm the visionary. I bring the stuff in, and then once it's in the funnel, I don't want to touch it anymore. So I've become a lot better at just mastering, the top of the funnel.
Well, and that's really the magic. I mean, because if you don't have any leads in the beginning, you have nothing. So let's just
100%.
kind of like expand on and talk about what that is as far as because it really is for those who are starting in business. It's really about your whole business. You want to find money, you want to find deals. If you have a coaching program, if you have a lead magnet of a book or a free offer, a free report, all this stuff is relevant. And how do we do it, man? Give us some
Perfect.
tips.
So
How do we do it all?
let's visualize the funnel first. Like,
Yeah.
let's take the listener through just a visualization. I know that most people are going to be listening only and not viewing, so I won't do it to you where I'm pointing at a funnel. I'll just kind of help you visualize one. Think about like when you are in your kitchen and you need to get a lot of a liquid into a small thing. You need to take a little funnel, you put it in there, and then you can, even if you're a little messy, even if you don't have a perfect steady hand, like you're still going to get all that water or that liquid where you want it to go. And so I think of it like that. In the funnel, there's four parts. There's the top, and then there's, the second part down, and then you kind of keep going down the middle, and then the very bottom part of the funnel. And I call it four parts because there's the know, and then there's the like, and then there's the trust, and then there's the doing business with you. If we are multifamily investors and syndicating deals, then doing business with us means that's our person that needs to invest their passive capital into our deal so that we are able to close these deals. So if you only know 10 people, if 10 people know you, and that's the most amount of people that know you, I guarantee no matter what, there is no way that you could have more than 10 people investing in your deal because only 10 people know about you. And so we need to find a way to get this top part of the funnel as big as possible, as big and wide as possible, so that the most amount of people can start being able to see what we're doing. And so at the big part of the funnel, here's the things to think about. You need to have these three stools, this three-legged stool. You have to have some type of thought leadership platform. There's a lot of ideas. You could have a podcast if you want, or a YouTube channel. You could write a book or an ebook, whatever it takes for you, and maybe a blog, maybe a Facebook group, something where you can get people to talk about you behind your back in a good way. The second thing that you'll need to be at the big part of the funnel, besides a thought leadership, is whatever you do on social media. You have to have some type of social media. And earlier I spoke about a Facebook group being a thought leadership, but a Facebook group is not going to be technically your social media. This is going to be your personal Facebook page, or your Bigger Pockets page, or your LinkedIn or Instagram, or that new TikTok that's coming out. This is like your
Another thing to master.
Another thing to master. But for me, I say only do one of those thought leaderships. Only do one of the social medias, and only do one of the live events. The third piece of the big part of the funnel is your live event. And before we got recording, Corey and you and I were talking a little bit about hosting events. You have your Kahuna boardroom. I've got a conference that we do once a year. But the listener doesn't have to have a boardroom. They could do a workshop. They could do a free workshop. They could do a paid workshop. They could host a boot camp. They could host a conference if they want, or they could host a meetup group. Or the easiest one is they can just host a dinner where it's you and your spouse getting together with a passive investor and their spouse. And as you kind of get together and you're in person, that's where you start to become friends. Corey, you and I have known each other for a long time. We finally met in person, and we've been able to meet a couple of times, but it was that first time that we met that I think we really started, we got to do more things together. I like you,
Yeah.
We already kind of followed each other. We already kind of knew who each other were, but it was that time where we got in person where we were able to strike up that real conversation.
Yeah,
and
that was in Dallas, right?
Yeah. Dallas and Denver.
Yep.
I think you've come out to Denver at least once.
Yep.
And what the point for the listener, though, is you're going to have past investors that that kind of start to know who you are. They kind of start to follow you. They might even take action on your lead magnet, which I hope we have a chance to talk about in this episode, is what to do with that lead magnet, because you got to find a way to convert these people, these past investors, into your world. So going from the know you to the like you got to have something that transfers, and that's the lead magnet. So that takes them from the top of the funnel to the second part of the funnel. And once you have these people jumping into your world, you have to have a way to actually meet them in person. So hosting some type of an event, even if it's as easy as just having a dinner. You don't even have to host a dinner. You could just take them to dinner. You can just go out to a restaurant. So that's kind of what I think about with the big part of the funnel.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say there's 3 legs is because for the listener, if you're sitting on a stool and it has 1 or 2 legs, you're definitely going to fall over.
It's not going to go well.
If it has just 1 leg, you could fall over in any direction. If it has 2 legs, you at least could control. I'm either going to fall this way or that way, and that's it. Once you have that 3rd leg, you have something stable. You have that foundation to sit on. And so I like to put all of these 3 things together in order to really maximize the way that you're getting in front of your perfect target market, which for most of the listeners, I think, is a passive investor.
Yes, absolutely.
So if you get your thought leadership, your book or whatever, and you also have some type of live event, it's really this social media that everyone seems to be afraid of, that everybody seems to not know what to do with, that is really the missing link for most people.
Yeah.
Because there's some people that have done a lot of good business, and even the past investors that they already have are like, this guy rocks my world, or this woman, she is crushing it, and I'm so glad to passively invest with them. But their brand doesn't grow. They have a podcast and they only get 20 downloads per episode. And I remember those days myself, and it was really frustrating. It was hard to have this podcast that you pour all this time in, but you only get like 20 downloads. And I think that there's a lot of people that are listening that may have even started their podcast, and they're like, well, I'm already doing that. I don't have to do the social media. The only thing, here's the big takeaway for every listener. The only reason why my podcast grew and people now know my name, and I'm grateful for that, is because of what I did on social media. It's the only reason that many of you probably started a podcast even before me, but my podcast somehow skyrocketed isn't because I'm any smarter or better than you. It's because I took a step out of my comfort zone and told people about my podcast on social media. Same thing with my Meetup group. I hate to sound like it's braggy or anything like that, and I don't mean it that way.
You're not.
But I did speak at Meetup HQ on their dime. They flew me out there to speak to their top 150 organizers from around the whole world, and they asked me to be one of 6 speakers. They recognized me as one of the top Meetup organizers, and I'll tell you, it's not because of all of the things that you think it could be. It's really because I marketed it on my social media. I took pictures when we were there. I told people that what they were going to miss out on, and that's what made my Meetup all of a sudden get traction, so people wanted to attend. And so just FYI to the listener, the missing link is your social media platform. You've got to be able to get your stuff out of your comfort zone, let people know what you're doing, or else neither your podcast or your live events will ever take off.
Yeah. That's, dude, great open. I love that. Dude, that was just some nuggets, dude. I love the know, like, and trust. I mean, what you just did, I was just sitting here listening to you and thinking it was you just describing the process, and it's so spot on. You can't do one without the other, right? I know a lot of people start a podcast and they get very discouraged really quickly because they're like, well, but no one's really paying attention. But if you're really not doing the other piece of social media and putting it out there and doing all the stuff that you can to amplify the message, Because I always say, people ask me too, Corey, do I need to start another podcast? Or there's so many podcasts out there, but there's not a podcast with you, right?
100%.
And you'll find your audience. And I still believe we're just like we're still at an infant stage of all this stuff. I mean, social media has been around for a while, but like it only gets bigger. It's like I always say, like the UFC when they sold it for $4 billion. I don't know if you're a UFC fighter.
No, I didn't know that.
So Dana White, they bought the UFC for $100 million, right, or something like that, and they sold it for $4 billion to another company. Now, or let me give you a better analogy. People understand. Disney bought Star Wars for I think like $4 or $5 billion, right? That's a lot of money to buy a Star Wars franchise, right?
Yeah.
But why? But for Disney, they're like, dude, we're getting a steal because George Lucas couldn't take Star Wars any farther than what he could, right? But the vision behind Disney was like, no, we can put this in our. They're going to amplify the message.
Yeah.
They were going to put it at all their theme parks. They're going to have Disney or whatever the hell it's called now, Starland or.
I don't know. I haven't heard of it.
It's whatever they have. They have a Millennium Falcon at Disney now.
Is it in Florida?
It's in both.
Oh wow.
I believe. I mean, I know it's in L.A. for sure.
Okay.
And it's awesome. It looks like it's like you're going to tattooing. It's awesome, man. And so, but Disney knew the value because they knew how to amplify the story to get it to a bigger audience.
Yeah.
And that's just what you just said.
Exactly.
That was my version of it, by the way.
Missing piece.
Yeah. But then the last part of that too is the live event. And it's funny how you said, because the truth is, it could just be dinner.
Yeah.
That could be your live event. Is having dinners with some potential clients or investors that want to know more about you. They know and like you, but they want to figure out if they can truly trust you. And sometimes you got to break some bread.
I highly, highly suggest it. It's cheap and easy, not hard to plan, and it's incredibly highly effective. So if you can, grab your sniper rifle and select the exact right avatar for you, and if you have a spouse or a significant other that you can sit down with them and their significant other as well, there's something about where you have your spouse with you that it really lets people into your world and has them want to be a part of it. So I really heavily suggest that those dinners be your next step if you haven't done that yet.
Yeah. And here's what I've always loved is sometimes you can take the easiest way to get, I think, more passive money, at least what in my opinion is, I've always just said, hey, let's go to dinner with one of my investors now and say, hey, why don't you bring two of your good friends and their wives, and let me take them all out to dinner, and all I got to do is pay, right? I don't even have to talk because they're already going to do all the talking for me, and I just got to be like, yeah, that's what I do, and answer some other questions, but really I don't do much talking. And then we come out of the room, I say, hey, Sean, how much money we raise?
It's genius. It's it's you. You've cracked the code, Corey, and I think that the listener needs to think about what you just said and think about how they might be able to do that, especially if they've already closed on a deal, if they already have a passive investor or two. Select one of them to bring a friend or two and make it just about dinner, make it just about a night out, and sit back and definitely don't push. I think
just love on everybody, and because your people will do the selling for you. They understand why they're there. That's like I remember when I was a student at Dave Lindahl, right? I was one of Dave Lindahl's successful students, right? So he has this big event, and then I get asked to come on stage, right? Dave's like, tell us how you did it, Corey, right? I already know what I'm supposed to say, right? Dave, it's because of you. And I followed your training. Because what am I doing? I'm selling his stuff for him. Right there, I'm a walkie billboard. But what did it do for me as soon as I walked off the stage? I'm like the new big deal. Oh my God, let me talk to Corey. And all of a sudden, my celebrity status went up. And so sometimes all you got to do is just reward your buddy and just say this is the guy, and he'll do all those selling for you.
Yeah, I was. Oh, what was I going to say? Because it was so important. You talked about. Shoot, it's all right. I forgot it. That's okay.
All right. Well, I want to come back to you. Top of the funnel. You said you want. We have time. We're gonna have time. I got time. If you got time.
Perfect.
Let's talk. Yeah. Let's go to the next step.
All right. So the second step down. So once you get people into your world, you've got to find a way to get them to start to show that they like you. So they already know who you are because you've done a badass job, and I hope that doesn't get edited out. You've done a really great job getting out in front of your perfect target person. And now you need to find out, how do I get them to take a little step toward trusting me, toward liking me and saying, I like what this guy has or what this girl has. And the way that you do that is with a lead magnet. Now, just FYI, you're never going to call it a lead magnet. You're never going to tell your passive investor that I'm going to give you a free lead magnet. That's not how you talk about it. You talk about it as a free giveaway, or I've got this resource that I created that I'd be happy to give you. But that's about all you say. You won't call it a lead magnet, but between you and me, it's a lead magnet. And so what you got to think of is what does your avatar want? Well, hopefully before you ever talked about the top of the funnel, before we ever got there, you understand who is your avatar. You understand, like, who do you want to attract and why? Like, what do they look like? What are they worried about? Once you can kind of put
a lot of people do this wrong, by the way.
100%. There's a lot of podcasts out there that get started without the correct avatar in mind. But when you totally understand your avatar and you understand exactly what they need, now you can create a lead magnet for them. So I have an avatar. I have a different avatar. It's an avatar of people that I can help raise money. So I'll go over that lead magnet with you now. So we talk about within the raising money, how essential it is for somebody to need to have this thing called a sample deal package. Mm-hmm. And it solves a lot of the problems that most people have, because it allows you to have something tangible to give somebody. It allows you to have something where it's on the on the sample deal package. They can take it home to their spouse and they can go over it with their spouse. And you want that to be really simple, by the way. You want your sample deal package to be simple. Don't say IRR, say annualized return. They don't always understand IRR. And
no one understands
just get it
IRR.
Out of there. Just take it out.
Not
There's
normal
no reason.
people, by the way, and not
Most
your avatar.
Normal people.
And not your avatar.
Yes, exactly. If your avatar is an engineer or somebody who's been involved in investing for years and years and years, you have to have that. But if you have in layman's terms, you got to put it in layman's terms. So what I'm saying is, we create this sample deal package that you can share with your people, like your own people. We keep it simple so that when you go and show your spouse, when your past investor shows their spouse and says, hey, honey, look at what I want to do. And the spouse says, what is IRR? And that other person says, I don't know. Then the spouse is going to be like, well, then we can't invest because we don't know. Right. So you change it to make it really simple. And you have something says annualized return. Mm-hmm. So in my lead magnet, I talk about how important it is to have this sample deal package. And then I talk about how I have 4 videos completely for free. And during the second video, and I say it like this, during the second video, you're going to be able to download the lead magnet. That allows my avatar to visualize themselves clicking that button while they're watching a video of me giving, you know what I mean? So you're going to do the same thing, but it's going to be for past investors. And then I say, all you got to do to have these 4 videos in this free sample deal package that you can use or rip off however you want is you text the word raising money to 555-888. So I understand that avatar. Now you got to understand your avatar. You got to think, well, does my past investor want to protect his or her capital? Yes, they do. Well, how can I help them protect their capital? Well, here's 3 ways automatically. Write these down if you're trying to attract capital, because this is good for your avatar. A, you need to help them understand how to vet an operator. And when you're teaching them why it's important to vet their operator, you tell them what could happen to them if they don't vet their operator, if they go with it just anyone. And then you show them that you have the checklist of the exact 12 things that must happen if they're going to safely invest with an operator. So that's your lead magnet, is how to safely vet an operator so that you don't lose money. Or you can have one about, hey, there's a lot of syndicators out there raising equity, and they're going into D areas where like it literally sucks to be there, and you're going to lose a ton of money. And here's the key metrics to make sure that that doesn't happen to you. And so you can download this for free by texting, let's just pretend it's market analysis, to your special phone number. And the third one could be, here's the metrics on a deal that most new passive investors miss. Just for an example, let's just talk a little bit about something called, you're going to be talking to your passive investor about, oh my gosh, there's this thing that I've seen happen where people have their exit cap rate. Another word for that is reversion cap rate, but they put their exit cap rate at a 5 cap. And and as somebody experienced, I know that it's probably going to be a 7.5. And automatically what that means is they're adding 40% on top of what they think that they'll sell it for. So if they say that they're selling it for $6 million, it really should be selling for $4 million or something like that.
I'm taking mass notes right now, by the way. Okay. Yeah, so
awesome.
I'm just like, hold on. I'm having a meeting next week with my team, and this is the agenda.
Perfect. So you provide this piece of content that shows.
I'm like, how do I miss this? This is awesome.
Awesome. Good.
We do a lot of stuff, but we're not doing this. And I'm like, oh, that's great. This is great.
It's just 3 quick examples off the top of my head, but we could go into a lot more detail on it. But just for the listener, just imagine talking about how you could talk about rent bumps. Like here's 3 big things that a syndicator could do that would make the numbers look amazing. They could change the reversion cap rate, or AKA that just means exit cap. Or they could say that they're able to increase rents by 15% in year 1, when we all know that that's not going to happen. Or they could say some third thing. And so what you want to do is you want to create a lead magnet that solves the problem of those 3 things. And then when you want somebody to get into your world, you basically say, in exchange for your email address, I'm going to give you this thing that gives you these 3 main things and how to solve them so that you don't lose money when investing in a certain deal. It helps the new person solve these problems. So that's the lead magnet, and there's a few things.
These are some podcast episodes, I think, for me and now too.
You say that again. Oh,
these are some podcast episodes for me
each
as
one,
well.
Yeah. For sure. So just to kind of brief the lead magnet thing, here's the things that you usually will need in order to implement a lead magnet. Number 1, you're going to need a place to go for the person who's jumping on there. And other people call this a funnel. I call this a piece of a funnel. Other people call it a funnel. It's really, to me, it's a landing page. That's all it is. It's a sales page. It's a landing page.
It's a place with whatever you said that you're going to give them, and a place for them to put their stuff and click the button.
The real funnel is know, like, trust, do business with. That's the real funnel. But this is just a piece of number 2, where it's the landing page where they can go and where they basically just put in their name and their email, and hopefully phone number 2. Ninja hack to anybody listening, add the phone numbers to your lead magnet from now on.
That's the text piece, yeah.
Exactly.
Well, and that's why you have the call to action as text, right? Because if they text the number, you already capture it. Boom, right there. And then it'll ask you for their email.
Yeah.
And that's when you get ninja at this game, right? There's always level 1, and then there's level ninja, right? But version 1's usually better than version none. So anything works in the start, but as you start to optimize, you're like, oh, hold on, now my call to action, as me and Adam, we have platforms, right? So we're like, if you're speaking to a group of people and you need them to do something, it's really simple to say, hold on, I got this thing for you. And then you put it on the next slide, text RPM or whatever it is to 555, whatever, triple eight.
Whatever your number is. Yeah. so just the things that will help you with the lead magnet is you need some type of email campaign. We use Active Campaign. The drawback is it's $100 to $200 every month.
Yep.
That's the major drawback. So you can start with like MailChimp. The drawback on MailChimp is it's just a little harder to do everything, and they don't update it as well. So if you got the budget for it, go Active Campaign. If not, use something like MailChimp. But you got to have that. And you have to have something like Zapier, which integrates Zapier. They call these things zaps. They basically, when this happens, it automatically does this. So when somebody downloads my lead magnet, it automatically imports all of their information into my Active Campaign so that I can go to the next step. So
and
you're going to probably
did you say ClickFunnels?
That's the third one. The third one is you need some good. You're right. You're on the ball. The third one is you got to have some place to put the website. Some people use Squarespace. We use two different things. We have an account with what is it called? Now I forget it because we're talking about ClickFunnels.
Kartra?
It's just the regular WordPress.
Yeah, WordPress.
So you can either use WordPress if
old
you're
school and reliable.
Yeah, if you're old school, but you got to be good at different things with WordPress, or you have to hire somebody.
Yeah.
So it
Fiverr.
might take more time or cost more labor, but if you do ClickFunnels, it's plug and play. And so we have both. We do both.
We do both as well. Our websites are
about $100 a month.
Yeah.
And most of the listeners, if they feel like they have $100 a month, then I believe that they should totally just go the ClickFunnels route because it's simple and easy and you can plug and play a lot. Yeah. If you're not sure if you have that, you can learn this in WordPress or Squarespace or even Wix, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, ClickFunnels.
But you hook them all through together. So you have a website, so call it ClickFunnels.
Yes.
And really, because I mean, let's be honest. If you're serious about this game, $300 a month, if to play it to raise capital, that's just maybe with the cost of the barrier to entry, right? But I'm telling you, this is the best game ever, dude. Like. Because it takes one deal. You raise $1 million or $1.5 million, you can be set for the rest of your life, kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, for sure.
That's my experience, and so
my first 3 deals got me out of the rat race. Yeah. So I mean, the rat race is stressful. It's a lot of work. It's still fun. It's still exciting. It's a little bit of a roller coaster. But when you're out of the rat race and like you at least know your bills are paid, it kind of gives you some breathing room to do other fun things. And for me, I chose to keep building businesses. But for, your listener, they might just choose to literally just go sit on the beach.
Yeah.
Who knows? But at least you have that choice.
I find a new thing to do like every 3 or 4 months. Right now I'm in Jeeping.
Say it again.
Right now I'm in Jeeping. I like crawling with my rock crawler. I got a Jeep.
Yes, Jeep. Yes. Your Jeep is so awesome, by the way. I love your Jeep.
Next time you're in Phoenix, I need to come to Colorado and do some trails there. I've heard there's some epic trails for Jeeps in your state.
I will be in Phoenix in next month.
Call me up, dude.
All right, brother.
I will take you some spots.
I'll come a day early.
It may. I mean, you're gonna pucker a little bit. The cheeks are gonna look tight. Because
some of what I've seen, I don't know if I want to be a part of because you do some
you ever see me do my wheelie?
Intense stuff.
I almost did a wheelie. I mean, I almost flipped it.
Oh yes, I saw that. You were going up the hill, right?
Yeah.
And,
he said bump it, and oh my god!
I'm gonna buy you a gift, by the way, Corey, and it's a I'm gonna buy you a drone so that your friends don't have to sit there with their cameras the whole time. Just get a drone and have it follow you around. So I've already been thinking about that for the last couple of weeks. I just need to buy it. So, yeah, you'll love a drone with all of your jeeping excursions.
Oh man. So all right. So dude, I love talking. So okay, we still got one more segment, one more piece, right?
We were definitely going to focus on the top of the funnel, and we've got
so we're
all of
good.
that.
Yeah.
And then we talked about how to get to the next place. There's a lot more to get them down to actually investing with you. There's how to manage investors. I will
teach
say,
all this stuff. You teach all this stuff, right?
Yeah, this is the main thing, and we have a conference on it too.
I'm ready for it. Are you ready?
Do it.
This is where I get to say. Well, this is where I'm gonna hook you up and say, Adam just gave you like some meat and potatoes, and maybe he was doing a lead magnet. Okay.
Right.
Because the next thing that I'm gonna ask Adam to do is, Adam, how do people find you, and what should they text you to get some free report or to get some of the stuff?
Probably honestly the best thing right now, because the Raising Money Summit is once a year and it's coming up.
Yeah, let's do that.
Probably really what I want to suggest is, if they're liking what we're going through, we do a 3-day conference. There's several hundred people there, and it's in October, so we don't have to worry about COVID. It's October 1st.
Yep.
So you'll be flying in the end of September. But day one is nothing but how to get in front of people and get investors on your list. That's all we talk about. Day two, all it is all the mechanics and the philosophies and the actual software you need to manage your investor list. And day three is all about how to call the capital. There's a little bit of psychology on what you need to be thinking and what they need to be thinking. So in 3 days, for an awesome price, you can literally go through everything you needed to be doing to up your game at raising capital. Corey, you were a speaker last year.
Yeah.
We had a good time.
Hopefully you'll invite me to speak again. I don't know. But if you
Done
can,
and
if
done.
you got space, I'll definitely come.
Let's make it happen.
But I'll tell you this. Listen, I did go to his event last year, and I'm going to tell you, I mean, I'm a connoisseur of these kind of events. I love going and learning. You had some of the best speaker lineups that I've seen, I mean, all last year. Like, and I went through quite a bit of conferences, but everybody came very well prepared. Even I remember when you did a really good job of interviewing everybody that was going to be on stage and understanding what they were bringing, and that it was good, solid content, that it was not just a bunch of hoopla jupla, stuff out there in the air, concept stuff. It was really like, I mean, people were just sitting there with hands down, face down with their pen, going to town writing dubious notes. That's how good it was. Everybody's taking pictures of screens. Like, that was good, dude. It was by far the content-wise, I've just not seen anything better, dude. So, hands down, I'm just going to tell you. So, you probably should go to this event. It's going to be a live event. Thank God someone's coming out with a live event. Because I think we all miss meeting each other a little bit, right? And there's a lot of power in that too, by the way. So where do they go to get into your event, and how much does it cost?
RaisingMoneySummit.com, RaisingMoneySummit.com. Scroll all the way down, because at the top you're buying last year's recordings, but at the bottom that's where you buy your tickets. There's 3 levels of tickets, so you can have the GA. I think that it's around $600. I don't. Maybe it's $400.
That's general admission for anybody that doesn't know what GA means.
Yeah. And then there's a VIP that comes with dinners with the speakers and things like that. And
I recommend that. Now, can I tell you why I recommend the VIP?
Please, yeah.
Okay, so listen. He just said you're going to go to dinner, and I went to his dinner, and they're good. But the truth is, if you want to be next to the players, the ballers, the guys that are really doing stuff, that's how you do it. If you want to be in the same room with your speaker lineup, you go VIP, dude. Like, that's how you shortcut the line. And listen, sometimes speed in implementation, and the closer you can get to people that could probably help you, because you don't know who you're going to be sitting next to. But that one person could probably give you a piece of nugget that could open up your whole business. And I've always paid for speed. Because I believe that's the juice that's worth the squeeze, in my opinion. So I'm just going to highly recommend people get the VIP package, because we all should be treating ourselves like we're VIPs. Wouldn't that feel good? Like, when you go out there, I'm a VIP, and then you get to hang out with the true VIPs, because in your mind you're one, but you may not physically be the baller yet that you want to be, or and I say baller, but I'm just talking about. And the great thing about these events, I think everybody checks their egos at the table. You've done a really good job with that, Adam.
Thank you.
You really have. I mean, the people that are there are just real people. They're not too proud of themselves, but listen, you're in a room with multi-millionaires, and you really wouldn't know that they're that wealthy because that's just not the kind of people that our tribe attracts.
Yeah.
Right? And the 100%. Avatar. And so, listen, if you're looking for that type of culture, then you should absolutely go to his event. I highly, highly recommend it. Raising
Money Summit.
Summit.com.
Yeah. Do we have an extra like 3 minutes to go over?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's a good takeaway or a plan for the listener who knows that they want to start a podcast, knows that they want to attract capital. A, come to this event, go VIP, and while you're sitting down with all the different speakers in that room, you get their information and you say, I'm starting this podcast about blah, 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 about XYZ, and I want you to be one of the speakers on the podcast. Because now you're close with them. They're going to say yes. You're in the same room with them. And now when you launch your podcast, you've got the cream of the crop, like the experts on your podcast, which are going to help you launch that podcast and get in front of more people, gain more credibility for yourself. So if you're ready to like actually take your business to the next level, I would definitely suggest go to Raising Money Summit, do the VIP if you can afford it. If not, it's totally fine. But you want to be able to reach out to those.
I'm just telling you, don't even think about hitting the other button.
But definitely reach out to the speakers there because we do have a good lineup. Corey, you should be there. And,
you know what's funny? You know what's funny, right? I got to tell this story because I was at your last one. And so, listen, I don't know all the players sometimes, right? And so I'm sitting in your event. I'm sitting down, like, you know, in the crowd because I'm like everybody else too. Like, I love stuff like this. I'm not going to try to hide up and act like I'm a big deal. I'm just going to sit with everybody else, shake hands, kiss baby. So I'm sitting right next to this woman, and we're just chatting and stuff. And I was like, and I had my book. I was like, oh, hey, let me give you one of my books. Right now, that kind of act. I wasn't acting like I was a big deal, but maybe I kind of was, right? And so, but guess who I'm talking with? Kathy Fecky. Yeah.
Awesome.
And so Kathy dwarfs me. Like I'm just like a little pimple, right? That's Kathy's got a real big, pretty big business. And anyways, so it was funny. But here's the thing, right? So lunch or dinner, I'm sitting next to Kathy on the speaker table, and there's other people there talking, and me and Kathy are talking, and I was like, hey man, I got this, my book, and I really want to get it. I want to get on Ellen, and I've not gotten on Ellen yet, okay, but this is truly what happened. And I was just explaining, we're just having a good casual conversation. She's like, so you want to get on Ellen? I'm like, no, I'm going, and I'm telling you right now, I'm going to get on Ellen with my book. I'm just going to make it happen. And she goes, you really want to get on Ellen? And I go, yeah. She goes, hold on. And I saw her kind of thinking about whether she was going to do it or not. And she's like, oh, screw it. And she texted me. She goes, that's the person that you call to get on Ellen. That's the PR for Ellen.
Wow.
Bro.
That's so cool.
It's not happened yet. But how cool is that, dude?
Yeah.
That was one connection to say, I'll get you on Ellen. Yeah, here's the person that can get you on Ellen. That's what I'm talking about. That's why you go VIP. Every time you have a chance to do and get in the right group with the right room with the right people, you don't think about it. You hit the go button. I'm just saying.
Good stuff.
Right?
Corey, thank you so much for having me. That was fun. I love going into this stuff.
Yeah. Listen, Adam, I really, again, thank you for coming on, sharing some really valuable content. Guys, in this business can give you everything. It really can. It can give you time, money, freedom, choices. It really can deliver it all. But before it can do that, you've got to take the time and you have to believe it. Guys, belief is everything. Because if you believe it, you can achieve it. And your paradise is possible.